Hey everybody, Andy from Tennis Euphoria, bringing you a review of the Yonex Percept 100. I have reviewed the 97 and the 100D on this channel, so check out those videos. The 100D review goes into a bit more detail about the Percept line as well, so check that one out if you're interested. This 100 is the 300 gram unstrung, 100 square inch, target 318 swing rate strung version of the Percept. Mine was a little bit underweight. Quality control with Yonex is always very good, and mine wasn't drastically underweight. I strung with various strings across various hitting sessions to review this racket for you. You'll notice yellow strings being Polytour Pro. I have a thin gauge of that. Swing weight was down at 311 with that Polytour Pro. Also strung with Polytour Rev and one of my favourite string setups, Silinko Torbite Soft in the mains, and also Headlinks Touch in the crosses. Love that combination. It's one of my go-to string setups. You can get away with a relatively stiff string in this Percept 100. It has a 66 RA, but it is quite a comfortable frame. So I personally thought the Polytour Rev actually really combined well with the Percept 100. Looks quite good in the mint, but in terms of playability, which is more important, I think a spin orientated poly works well in the Percept 100. Really kind of complements that nice launch angle that you get, brings the ball down nicely, increases your revolutions on the ball, and it is a comfortable frame. The flex force and the servo filter, I think, does make for quite a comfortable frame despite a relatively stiff RA at 66. Side note, keep in mind that different strings, particularly across different gauges, will of course increase your swing weight. They'll be heavier the thicker that they are. Um, Probably no surprise, and word of caution, I guess, that I particularly enjoyed Polytour Rev in this because that increased the swing weight on a frame that would be a little bit light for my preferences. So that leads me on to another point, in terms of me playing with this frame, which isn't what this video is about. It is something that I could use quite happily. I enjoyed it. I would want to increase the swing weight quite a lot, and the static weight with a leather grip and lead, taking it up to 320, 325. I think this would be a great frame for me and other advanced players who, perhaps are looking to compete. But more about the frame in stock and where it's intended. In terms of category, that's always of super interest to me because Tennis Euphoria is the home of a on-court based assessment and hitting service that then identifies the right category of frame for a player. The second part of the service then allows or enables people to have really in-depth and assessed demos across their category to make sure that they're getting the right frame for them. So it's really important for me to understand all of the frames out there, what categories they fit into. This, probably no surprise, fits into that sort of modern day category of offering some control, a bit of power, and a bit more, I guess, forgiveness than a 97 or a 98. So it would compete with things like the Headspeed MP and the Dunlop CX 400 Tour. It would compare very well to those two. Another personal observation, which is only pertinent to me, the 66 RA means that there is a bit more power and stability, I think, in this frame compared to the Speed MP. And in terms of the feel of the frame, that's actually perfect for me. I enjoy muted frames, ones that allow me to not have a dampener. I find that I like a little bit of sound, and I don't like playing with a dampener. I somehow kind of like a bit of feedback from the string bed, but then I need a frame to be muted enough. So, everything's very personal. That works for me. This frame offers that. Stiffer frames, often I will put a dampener into it. So I think the one sort of massive improvement on this line compared to its predecessors is that technology of the servo filter and the 2G NAM force compared with that flex makes it comfortable, nice feel for me. It'll be a personal thing as to whether you prefer the Speed MP or the CX400 Tour feel wise, but you get good stability and power in exchange for the weight. So, the maneuverability is really good, and you'll be hard pushed to find a sort of lighter and more maneuverable frame that offers more stability. It's really good in that respect. It is forgiving. It's got good comfort. It's fast through the air. So there's a lot to like about this frame. How does it compare to the 100D? I actually think that there is quite a significant difference. So the 100D comes in an 18 by 19 string pattern with slightly more weight. The launch angle is different. I always think that's overplayed a little bit, the differences in launch angles, because ultimately technique is the most affecting factor on a launch angle. But there's no doubt you get a little bit more launch with the 100, probably easier depth as well. However, if you're a super advanced player who likes to hit their spots and plays quite aggressively, then I think you'll probably prefer the 100D. The 100D, I think, sits in a different competing category. There's obvious other competitors to that, like the Technofiber T-Fight 305 Isoflex. Both that and the 100D can hit, really good balls on the rise. They can hit very accurate, precise, sort of aggressive baseline shots and are fairly good all-rounders in that respect. In terms of any weaknesses on this frame, certainly, personal thing for me, it lacks a little bit of plow and punch through. So I would certainly weight it up, as I say. I found it to be noticeable on serve that you're losing a little bit of punch. But again, I think if you're a super advanced player, this could be something that you would consider if you're looking for something speedy, comfortable, and maneuverable, still with good control. Just keep in mind, if you're that's at end of the spectrum, really advanced and competing, you're going to want to customize this and take the weight up. If you are at that sort of intermediate to advanced level, then this is probably good. You might find that you don't find the power issue because obviously it's fairly fast, and of course power is really a result of optimizing how much weight you can swing through the air at the quickest speed for you. So yeah, lovely frame. I did find myself taking it out to sort of drill with and train with people who have been through our assessment process recently, hitting with me on court, will have noticed that I've been using this in sessions. That's praise indeed. I do feel that I can trust it in those sessions. I just need to make sure that I'm getting the ball back to people in the places that they need to be, so that they can assess their frames. And when we're playing points, obviously want to be able to push people and that sort of thing. And it has been in my bag coming out for those sessions, so that's praise indeed. So yeah, good frame. Hope that's helpful. Would really appreciate likes and subscribes, as that just motivates me to do more. I'm lucky to be hitting with a lot of frames, particularly in the assessment sessions, so I can bring these reviews out. They're totally unbiased. I've got no connections with manufacturers or anything, so it's honest reviews, which I hope is valuable to everybody. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next one.